Calvin, that is way too much food. Oh my goodness. I'm Max. I have to talk to you about frogs. This is my whistling tree frog terrarium. Now this is all bioactive, meaning that it's living. It's home to 3 adult whistling tree frogs. Now I've had these guys since they were tadpoles, so I've grown them from tadpoles all the way to adults, and it's been a journey. Now a bit about me, I'm Max, and I've been obsessed with ectotherms since I was a kid. So when I mean ectotherms, I mean reptiles, amphibians, and even fish. Whether that's native New Zealand geckos, tropical fish, exotic species of lizards, and even some of our frogs from our neighbouring country, Australia. Now in this video, I want to talk to you about my experience with whistling tree frogs. Now whistling tree frogs have been naturalised in New Zealand, meaning that they were introduced from Australia and they're actually done really well in the wild in New Zealand, as well as you can keep them as pets. Now these little frogs are awesome, and they are our smallest tree frog, essentially, after the golden bell and the southern bell. But let's take it back to when I first got these little guys. Now I raised these guys from tadpoles all the way to adults, and it's been a journey, a 2-year journey to be exact. Now below I've added a few links in the description, and that is all the other videos I have with regards to raising them from tadpoles to froglets, as well as keeping whistling tree frogs in different types of enclosures. I'm not going to go too deep into that. I'm just going to give you my holistic 2-year journey and things that I've learned along the way. Now because these guys are super small, they only get to about 3 to 5 centimeters in length, you generally don't need large enclosures, but you do have to be mindful that they are arboreal, meaning they like to climb and they like to jump. They are tree frogs. They don't need lots of water, but still need a body of water. With regular misting, as long as you have the right parameters, as you can see with these glass terrariums, I'm a bit creative, I'm a bit experimental, but as long as you have the right parameters, they can flourish in these tiny little ecosystems. But as these guys got bigger, I had to upgrade them, and I wanted to build them a jungle, an epic jungle. So this is a bioactive setup that I've got for them. It's got lots of places to hide and climb. I mist it twice a day. It stays nice and damp and humid, the perfect environment for a tree frog. And essentially, if you want best practice, I think you need to have all elements in regards to a very well ventilated exoterra. Exoterra, you can't go wrong with the exoterra terrarium, as well as the right lighting. I use a spotlight, an LED light, and also a UVB bulb, just a 5.0. When it comes to handling frogs, now you want to wear gloves as much as possible. Now gloves aren't always around, but just try not to handle them too much. They're not really the pets that you should handle. Their skin is super sensitive and super absorbent, and we have a lot of chemicals in our hands. Now the obvious statement is frogs need water. Now apart from misting, you also need either a bowl of water or something deep enough for them to be able to fully submerge, a little pool, a pond. I mean, the ratio is usually 30-70, so 30% water, 70% land. That's usually a good ratio for your enclosure. So when the sun sets and the frogs come out, now whistling tree frogs are nocturnal by trade. So generally I am a huge advocate for wild bugs. I have a pesticide-free garden, so I generally will go out and catch moths, bugs, beetles, small spiders, mosquitoes, anything I can find at night. Otherwise, I'll go for a ride during the day to the local park, and I will go find isopods or slaters. I'll take Figgy for a run, and we'll go find some of these guys. And these are not just good diet or food options for the winter, especially when flies are scarce, but they also act as cleanup crew. Now, cleanup crew, they'll basically go in the soil in your bioactive enclosures. They'll keep everything nice and healthy. They'll eat rotting and dead vegetation, have a nice clean and healthy ecosystem, and they're super safe to be around your frogs, and your frogs will most likely eat them as well. So where do you find isopods? Well, as you saw in the last 10 or 15 seconds, you generally want to find rotting logs or rotting wood. Now they like dark, damp environments. Toss over a few of these logs and you'll find these guys in multiple numbers. Collect a few, you can even keep them in about 3/4 of soil and some Tupperware with some dead leaves, and they'll generally survive for a long time, if not actually live and flourish. I have 2 breeding colonies that do just fine, but otherwise you'll have a source for all of winter and all of summer. And if you decide to do more bioactive terrariums, well, there you go, you've got cleanup crew for days. Now what I'm showing you now is a brand new construction, a new video, something coming soon, and I'm super excited about it. It's me setting up a brand new terrarium. Well, not brand new, the Exoterra is old, but a brand new setup, some new architecture. It's going to be super epic. This is basically what I would do for some tree frogs. It's going to give you some inspiration, but this isn't for tree frogs, and this is just giving you a sneak peek taste of the next video to come. But otherwise, this is how you would set up a bioactive terrarium. Stay tuned for this video, which will be out in a week. So why am I showing you this? Well, I want a little sneak peek into my world of how I build these from scratch. And you can build these for whistling tree frogs, for bell frogs, for dart frogs, for crested geckos, obviously in a much bigger terrarium. But this is just how I do it. And it's actually such a simple and rinse and repeat process. It takes time and patience and a bit of skill, but once you learn the process, it's therapeutic. I love doing it and it keeps me sane. So to build this epic little beast of a terrarium, all I've used is expanding foam, I've got silicone, I've got coconut fiber, I've got soil mix, I've also got some glue, some super glue, I've got some vegetation. For the base layer, I've got some clay balls, a bit of mesh, and some more soil, and some moss, but wait till you see the final thing. So this has been 2 years in the making. This is 2 years down the track and my experience with whistling tree frogs for the last 2 years. And you know what? I wouldn't change it for the world. My last key experience I'll give you guys is that frogs are super food competitive, meaning that if you're going to have more than one, make sure you feed them a lot of food in there constantly, and make sure that they're all eating. As froglets, they're super sensitive to this, and if they don't eat often, they will just die off. But otherwise, I'm Max. I hope you like my content. I hope you enjoy my channel. I've got a lot of fantastic beasts and a lot of fantastic beasts to come. Stay tuned for the next one.